Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Erica Schmerica Reality Recap. Today we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 13. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's get started. This week we're Memphis and Hamza. So this week we saw Mother Hamza really wanted to get to know Memphis a little bit better, to use the skill set of the very dynamic translator. He sat down with Memphis talking about, her ex-husband being very much still in the picture as the father of her children. Mother Hamza was worried that this in some way would impact her son. This assured her that no, everything's good. He's a very good man. He is very nice. Bueno, nice man. It's like, we're not speaking Spanish here, Memphis. I don't know. I felt like she was going to go default to Spanish because they couldn't understand each other. But meanwhile, they had that translator who was like, she feels he's a good man. And this is something that Hamza will not have a problem with. It's like, bravo. I think he's probably been at least in off-Broadway plays. I'm not really sure. So then Mother Hamza also wanted to ask Memphis about her past and her childhood, and also like all of the traumas she's endured, and if they would affect her son Hamza. This kind of started to piss off Memphis, who started getting really defensive and just answered the question by saying, I'm a nurse practitioner. I am very strong. I was in foster care. I have overcome things. And I mean, from her, that was a lot of dynamic conversation. So, the translator gave it his all, repeating things to Mother Hamza. She has overcome things and she can get through them. And Memphis started crying. And apparently Memphis crying works on everybody in Tunisia. So Mother Hamza ran over, hugged her, and all was forgiven. And now she'll have her own seat, plastic lawn chair seat, that is, in the kitchen of Mother Hamza as her daughter-in-law officially. Next, Memphis and Mother Hamza and Sister Hamza all went wedding dress shopping to this traditional Tunisian dress shop. So first things first, Memphis put on a little fashion show and they had her mom on FaceTime watching, and she tried on this like green number. It was like green and gold. She looked like one of the Mucinex guys, and she came like waddling out like, me do not like looking like Mucinex guy. And they expectorated that outfit from the selection. Next, she put on this like white and gold, like Elvis meets Stay Puft Marshmallow Man outfit. It had a hat, like maybe a fez that went with it. It had like kind of cape-like items. Anyway, that was also voted off the island. So then the third and final option that they showed was like a white, very tailored pantsuit. And she looked very like Princess Jasmine in it. It was looking pretty good. And they all said, me like, this is good. And that's, I guess, what she'll be wearing to the wedding. The funniest part, though, was when Mother Hamza got out of her chair and was like imitating Memphis's model waddle, trying to, upstage the bride. It was time for Memphis to go over to the lawyer to discuss a prenup, which file under things you should have done probably a while ago instead of 2 days before your wedding. But anyway, she sat down with the lawyer to discuss, and the lawyer let her know that, the door is closed on this because she should probably just push back the wedding festivities if she was really that concerned about her assets, which I'm thinking is like maybe like her wig, her Zenni optical glasses that she wears all the time. Like, what does Memphis have? I don't know. Anyway, maybe she has a lot of assets we don't know about. Maybe she has some gold-plated Soja Boy necklaces. I digress. After hearing this, she's very worried, and she's like, me need to think about this. So she goes back to Mother Hamza's house where Hamza is sitting there, and they're all like getting ready, starting to like begin all of the traditions for the wedding. And she tells Hamza very cold and very flat without much explanation, I need to sleep in hotel tonight. Can't sleep here. Need to think. And she storms out with all her stuff. I guess next week we'll get to see if they go through with the wedding or me done. Next, there were Ella and Johnny, who were basically like thrown in whenever production feels like it. They're not consistent. This week we saw Ella like stomping through the forest with her dog and sit down on a stump looking super lumpy in her like weird tank top. And she video chatted Johnny. And I noticed the whole time she was chatting with him, like the screen was angled down and all you could see was like her left boob. Not sure if that's always how they FaceTime, but she just got right to it as soon as Johnny came on, asking him point blank, Are you coming to Dubai? Am I meeting you there? Check yes or check no. Johnny, kind of seemed hesitant, but he gave her the full story, which was he's still too nervous about COVID and he's worried about coming to the US, let alone to Dubai. And he just doesn't think it's worth the risk of having to quarantine and possibly get sick and have a big issue. So, of course, this upset Ella, and she just told him she can't wait any longer. She needs a lot of in-person attention. Calling her friend over the other night to have like Netflix and chill, and watch probably some horrible anime or something. And they ended up sleeping together. Of course, Johnny seemed pretty devastated, but he actually was very understanding. He was like, it's all my fault. I'm dragging you around. I'm delaying everything. I can be there in 7 months. Please wait 7 months for me. And Ella's just crying because that's what she does, but also because she feels like she doesn't want to just put her life on hold and keep waiting and waste all of her youth and charm on Johnny, who may or may not be coming. Apparently, he's done this before. So Johnny offered to send her an engagement ring to kind of show proof that he's committed to the cause. But, that seemed to perk Ella up a little bit. I mean, she probably likes Lord of the Rings, and now if she had her own ring, she could probably like role play a sexy Gollum or something. Anyway, I don't think anything's happening with these two. They're just here for decoration. Next were Geno and Jasmine. So it seems like they've been getting along for a few weeks in a row. So of course they are due for a big volcanic eruption of a fight. First we see Jasmine in the gym working out. Went and was talking, amidst her workout, and Jasmine was really upset because she had gotten a message on Instagram from some like troll account, basically telling her that they had her nude photos, sending her photos that she only sent to Geno, and saying that they were going to spread them all over the internet. So to Jasmine, this was really upsetting because she's a teacher and she felt that this could possibly, make her lose her job, let alone embarrass her whole family and her kids. So she was very upset. So she voiced this to Geno, letting him know she was still really upset about the situation, even though they decided to like work through it and move past it, and he apologized. However, she didn't feel like he was being as apologetic or remorseful as he should be. He was just kind of sitting there blinking, as a Geno does. Jasmine expressed, I could lose my job, and Geno's like, well, I could just financially support you till you get another one. Okay, Geno. Also, besides that, like, just get another one. This is her whole career. So she's getting more and more frustrated with him. She's getting more pathetic. She's starting with the insults. She's already saying how pathetic he is. She loves to call him a weak, pathetic man. I think he kind of likes it, though. I think that's like their shtick. But anyway, she got really upset, and Geno just kind of like walked away, giving her space, went and sat by the pool, looking like a sad, lost puppy. Then he kind of slinked back over and, tried to like apologize again. But, she said like, look at me, Geno. Since your visit, on day one, I looked great. I had my hair done. I had my nails done. I was smiling. And she's like, look at me now. And then Geno's like, well, I could take you to get your nails done, completely missing the point that he has like broken her down. So she gets really upset. Of course, now she has the upper hand, which she loves. So during this upper hand moment, she's like, give me your phone. I want to make sure you're not lying to me. Give me your phone. I want to look through your emails. So Geno opens, reluctantly hands over his phone, and she starts looking, and she's looking through folders, and her eyes get big, and she sees an email, and it was about a reservation to Legoland. That's where all scandals happen. Most sexy vacations, most adult affairs happen at Legoland. So meanwhile, she's furious because this was a vacation that Geno took with his ex-girlfriend. He forgot about the memorable trip to Legoland. I know who wouldn't have forgotten about the trip to Legoland. Mike. He loves Legos. You should have taken him. And Jasmine wouldn't even have been mad. Anyway, she's so pissed off. She's starting to berate him again. And you know what? He finally gets a backbone and stands up and is like, I've had enough of this. This is ridiculous. I'm not dealing with this anymore. And he stormed off, leaving Jasmine sitting there speechless. Back in Peru, we met up with Mahogany, who was combing her nasty extensions, which are just cut all blunt and don't match her blunt haircut. So she's got this crazy, like, her head got sucked into a lawnmower or something, haircut going on. So she's sitting there brushing the extensions. Thank you to the trolls who produced this show, who like filmed the back of her head so I could figure it out. It is extensions. Anyway, she's explaining that she's really hungry. She's going to have breakfast at the little breakfast buffet, get her Peruvian cornflakes. And she's upset because she hasn't heard from Benjamin that morning. But the night before, after they had their whole sand dune experience, she felt like Ben was kind of not taking accountability for his part in his past relationships and why they didn't work out. This is pretty rich coming from Miss lied about her age and lives in a fake Airbnb. Anyway, Ben, when they got back to the rooms, had apparently sent her like 48 pages of text messages with like some of his best written, stories. Leave it to me, Ben. Thank you. I'm the one who writes ridiculous, fictitious stories. Anyway, he explained some of like the issues he had in his past relationships, his responsibility, the ex's responsibility, and why he thinks they got there. And he also explained that he thinks that God has hardened Mahogany's heart towards him, and that, he loves her and the love is real, but it's not real because, this isn't love. There's no fear in love. And he, at this point, feels like he's over it. So Mahogany's like, cool. Do you want to get cornflakes? So, she goes upstairs, and lo and behold, who is already beating her to the breakfast buffet? But the parents, Mahogany. They're sitting there. They're having a little breakfast, and she's like, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, we just thought we would have a little bit of fun and get a paycheck from TLC. Also, who are you again? We're strangers. So anyway, they sit down. They're asking about Ben. Where is he? Doesn't he want breakfast? And Mahogany's like, he's being so rude. Can you believe he hasn't met me and he left me standing here by myself? I mean, kind of like somebody leaving you at the airport and not responding for 2 days when you're flying, from Michigan to Peru to see them. No big deal. So anyway, the parents were saying that they really were still on the fence about Ben. They, would like to speak to him, but they don't know his true intentions. And then all of a sudden, Ben messages kind of like, oh, can't really come, gotta wash my hair, and winking at them. Well, maybe. And anyway, he then says that he wants to only speak to the parents, Mahogany, without Mahogany there. That's going to be interesting next week. Can't wait to see that conversation. It looked like he was done, but he had packed his bags. It looked like he was done, but he's still in it. In Colombia, we are left with this cliffhanger last week of like, Mike, are you breaking up with Jimena or not? Well, it turns out he just puts the ball in her court and he's like, do you want me to break up with you? And of course, Jimena's like, well, she's like, I just want you to pay my rent. Like, can you just do that? No. She actually says, I don't want to, but I need my space because New York and Colombia are way too close for comfort for Jimena. She is, in fairness, used to dating prisoners, and you have a lot of space like that in those relationships. Ask anyone on Love After Lockup. Anyway, so they seem to kind of reconnect and decide to give this thing another go, even though Nelsie, Mike's friend, called just to kind of like remind Mike, hey, Mike, you might not want to do this. Jimena is like really not in this for the right reasons. She's using you. She's a user, Muhammad. You probably don't want to do this. So Mike was just kind of like, I don't know. I just listen to whoever I'm talking to at the moment. But he decides, Jimena, will you go home with me and can we sleep together in the same bed? And Jimena's just like, okay. And she agrees. So meanwhile, they go back to the house. They all went to bed in the same bed with Juan and Harold and then Steven. They all slept in the same bed, but once the little Ninos fell asleep, Mike and Jimena scooted out into the kids' bedroom in the race car bed with the Thomas the Tank Engine sheets and totally got it on. While the Thomas the Tank Engine sheets were like, I think I can. Not good. Anyway, so Mike the next morning was looking chipper. He's like, guess who has 2 thumbs and got lucky with gross old Jimena? This guy. And Jimena is just like, oh, I can't deal with this. And they ask her, how are you feeling today? And she's like, normal. That's all she says. So, he's super excited. He's right back in it. And they decide they're going to go on a date night because they're really, trying to repair this broken relationship. So Mike takes Jimena out to her favorite restaurant, which is called Abu Dhabi, which is a place we haven't visited on this show yet, but I hope we do soon. And it had like a cool pool outside, and Mike even got dressed up. He was wearing his favorite Batman watch and also his like camo print t-shirt with like a sequin skull on it that he got at like Sicario Men's Warehouse. It definitely had the look of like a Sicario going clubbing. So Jimena was probably really into that. She did say he looked nice. So they went out to the restaurant. They're sitting there, and Mike's like, "So, are we gonna get married now? Like, is everything okay?" And Jimena was still kind of like, she couldn't even hide the look on her face. And she's like, "I don't even want to sleep with you until we're married." And now Mike's like, "Wait a minute." The light bulb finally went on, and it looks like next week they have another tough conversation. Last up for this episode, we're queen for the day, Kimberly, and sort of superstar Soulja Boy's boyfriend, not even sure what he is anymore. So last week, Kim was like throwing a fit. She wouldn't have anything to do with him. She was so pissed off about the whole Zara situation. And this week, she phoned a friend to kind of like call a lifeline to see what she should do. How she should proceed. Asked the friend, like, "What do you think I should do?" He had this girl, Zara, that was his girlfriend when we started talking. So meanwhile, the friend was like, "Obviously he's using you. This is ridiculous. You don't need to be with him." And Kimberly's like, "Yeah, you're right. I'll give him another chance. But he has to do something big to prove it to me. Big. He has to really go big, maybe like perform or, give some kind of grand gesture to win me back over." So meanwhile, Soulja Boy was like relaxing by the pool, like a superstar does. And Kimberly went over and met up with him, and they had a whole conversation. And she basically told him, like, you're going to have to put in some effort. You're going to have some grand gesture to try and win me back. And he was just laughing. He's like, "That's ridiculous." She's like, "I put in all this effort in this relationship. I flew here. I made my whole wardrobe is your face. I bought you that crazy necklace you're wearing that looks like a slime font. Like, what is that?" She probably had to order it special from Piercing Pagoda. So, and she paid rush shipping. And she picks up his drink and throws it in his face. Now, this wasn't the first drink that's been thrown in Soulja Boy's face, and it will definitely not be the last. He claims in Nigeria, this is like not what women do. They're subservient. They never do things like this. Meanwhile, like Michael and Angela, like Michael is sitting in Nigeria, like laughing at the scene, like, "Huh, wait until you get hit in the face by a cake." Apparently people in our culture do deal with this all the time. Anyway, Kimberly goes back to the room. Soulja Boy goes up there and tries to like convince her to calm down. And then she finally just is like threatening. She's like, "You can't get this necklace back until you do something to prove your love to me." And Soulja Boy's like, "Yeah, okay." And meanwhile, she's like, "Well, then I am leaving early. Don't think I won't do it." And he's like, "Have a nice flight," and walks out. Mic drop. Thanks so much for joining me today for another episode of Erica Schmerica's Reality Recaps. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to get notified about all new videos I'll be posting. Bye, guys.